It's time once again to slip into your camo, grab your bow, and join us out in the field for another episode of the Up North Journal, presented by PSE Archery. The Up North Journal crew is knocked and ready to rock for another exciting adventure. So let's step outside and hit the trail.
This episode of the Up North Journal podcast is brought to you by PSE Archery,
Black Eagle Arrows,
Scent Blocker,
Killer Food Plots,
Cabela's,
Spot Shooters,
Antler Action,
Family Traditions Tree Stands,
Tom's Custom Turkey Calls,
and Badass Slingshots.
Welcome back to this Father's Day edition of the Up North Journal podcast. Sunday night in the cabin. We're back inside tonight, and it's Father's Day.
It is. Happy Father's Day.
And you likewise.
I tell you what, I'm doing this for 23 years now.
Yeah? 23. Mine's coming up on 23. This is my 22nd Father's Day.
It was a beautiful thing this morning when I got a text from my oldest daughter.
I've already heard this story.
Saying, Happy Father's Day, Dad. I love you.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, could you put some money in the account?
Nice.
Yes. It's good to be wanted.
Yeah, happy Father's Day, and I put some money in the bank.
That's right. Nah, it was all good. I knew it was coming anyways.
Do anything special for Father's Day?
You know what? We did nothing
Chilled.
special for Father's Day.
Just chilled out.
We went out to dinner last night to Lucky's.
Okay.
Then today, I worked in my cabin.
Okay.
I hung some stuff up, and I attempted to get all my hats up off the floor.
Ah, okay. Is this in lieu of a post that was made by a certain someone on the Outdoor Podcast channel?
It was pretty funny that she made that post, right?
Carrie Z made a post, and what was it? She said she had 42
hats.
42 hats laying on the floor.
I know I should have counted them, but I was like, I already have some up, but I had more to put up, and I finally did that today, and I hung some of my European mounts up on the wall. So it was.
So you hung some hats up, or you put them on a shelf? What did you do with hats?
Okay, so what I found at IKEA, it's a wire line that you anchor in the wall.
Okay.
And they come with, you can buy clips, and you clip it to the hat, and you can hang them on this wire.
So it's a hat hanger.
It's a hat hanger. It goes all the way across the wall.
Dude, if I did that with mine, how many do you think I'd need?
Actually, it would work out really good in here because you could do it right at the top of the ceiling.
All the way around?
And go all the way around, and you'd probably have enough room.
You think so?
Yeah, it would. It would actually look. It looks cool. I'll have to take a picture of it to you and show it to you.
I bet you I could fill. I know I could fill all the way around. There's no doubt I got over 100 hats.
Yeah. No, we could. It would look good in here.
Okay.
It adds to the. It's like, well, what do you do at the top of the ceiling, right?
Right.
I'll put hats there.
Right.
So.
Hat hanger.
A hat hanger, yes. So
how many hats do you think you got?
You know, that's a good question. I want to count them now. I'll have to
taken off on her Twitter post.
Right. I'll have to take a count and then see how many I got. So the ones that I had in my cabin are now off the floor. So
okay. So how many hats do you wear on average?
Right now, I've got on my pile of wearing 4 to 5.
Okay.
I rotate.
Yeah, I'm probably a good. I would say 6 to 8.
Yeah.
I got other ones that I want to wear that I dare not wear because they're in pristine condition. And it's like, what am I going to save them for? But they're like, it's like something I want to save, something special.
Well, yeah, a couple of them will still got tags on it and stuff like that. So
I want to use them for maybe a special show that we do for Cabela's or something like that, or a special event. So I do keep a couple back.
Right, exactly. So I got them off the ground. I had some European mounts in the basement that I finally moved out of the basement into the cabin.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's really about all I did today.
How many hats did you buy, percentage-wise, just a guess? And how many of them were just given to you?
1/3 probably bought, 2/3 probably given. Or maybe, wait,
okay.
Let's flip that. Say 2/3 are bought, 1/3 given. Probably, yeah.
Okay. Andy Eberhard just joined in. Hey, Andy, thanks for joining in tonight. I got to say probably, let's just say roughly I got 100 hats. I'd say I may have bought 10 of them, maybe.
I hear you.
Roughly.
But there is, speaking of hats, and I hope they have them when we go there on August 3rd or 5th or 6th, whenever we're there. Because it seems like they let the cat out of the bag.
Yeah, we got a special announcement. We were actually asked this last week on the show, and I don't remember who asked the question.
Right.
But they asked.
Actually, I think it was Kevin Craven.
Yeah, and it was after the show ended, I believe, and it was on the live stream. or was it not?
No, I think it was during.
Maybe it was during.
Whatever. But anyways, they finally announced that the store in Chesterfield will be opening August 3rd.
August 3rd, which is a Thursday.
They typically open them on a Thursday.
We're talking about Cabela's.
Yep, Cabela's is going to be opening in Chesterfield, Michigan on August 3rd. And we are going to be there August 5th and 6th.
Saturday, Sunday. That's right. Yep.
Reason we're not there the 3rd is because
chaos.
It is chaos.
Actually, you and I took the day off work.
Right.
You and I be there
you and I are probably going to take the day off of work, and we're going to head out there, and we'll probably do some live streaming. Mm-hmm. I want to get a hold of the manager out there and confirm we can do that.
Right.
Because I don't want to end up in the clink.
I want to fly the drone.
Well, we're going to ask permission.
Over the crowd. Sometimes it's better to ask for forgiveness.
It is, but then when you're in the back of a cop car and I'm waving to you, and I got your drone in hand.
Yeah.
Actually, they'd probably confiscate the drone.
Yeah. I say, no, it's him.
No, you don't.
But yeah, we're going to be there on the 5th and
the 5th and 6th for sure.
Yeah,
that we're going to be there,
and we'll be there in person as us.
Probably on the 3rd.
Yeah.
It opens at 10 o'clock, according to the article I read, and they're going to do the
traditional opening.
Traditional opening with the, as they put it, somebody was going to shoot an arrow with a Cabela's brand bow, I think is what it was.
And
but they didn't say who.
Yeah, they're going to cut the ribbon with the arrow. So
they didn't say who. So
yeah,
I have an idea who it is.
Who do you think it is?
I'm thinking Mr. Nelson.
Was he not the one that did it at Saginaw?
He was.
That's what I thought.
So that's why I'm thinking, why not have him? Unless they have somebody else, but that's off the top of my head.
And I can't remember who did the Granville store. So.
Oh yeah, I wasn't there for that.
Yeah,
he didn't do the Granville store.
No, I can't remember.
Oh, okay.
It's a long time ago.
So, but there you have it, folks. It's finally out of the bag. August 3rd, new store in Chesterfield, Michigan.
Give a shout out to Billy, too. He said Happy Father's Day to us.
Happy Father's Day, Billy. Which makes 4 stores in Michigan.
That will be the 4th. That's right.
So, gotta like it.
I'm looking forward to it.
I am, too.
Definitely looking forward to it. Another day of total chaos. I love the grand opening.
And it's going to be an 80,000 square foot store, so it's not going to be a small one like Saginaw.
No, it's going to be more on the scale of what's going on over near Grand Rapids in Granville.
Yep,
so.
Correct. So be prepared to spend a few hours walking around it.
Absolutely.
It'll be interesting to see how the mountain looks.
Yeah, the layout.
What they do there, and I think I know the layout. It should be the typical layout.
Well, I've been to Granville. I've been to all of them here, the 3 here in Michigan. I've been to the newer stores. We've been to Columbus. You and I have. I've been to Noblesville in Indiana. You've been to Green Bay.
I've been to Green Bay. I've been to the one in Indiana. I've been to the one in Illinois.
I've not been to Illinois, but I've been to 2 of them in Nebraska.
Oh, okay.
Kearney and I forget the other town that's out that way where they got the other store.
The one just outside of Chicago I went to.
So. But anyway, that's that in a nutshell. So we'll be down there if you guys are in this area, mid-Michigan area or northern Ohio. Come on up, see us, hang out.
Absolutely.
Have a good time.
Come up there on the weekend, spend some time and cash, and join us.
Absolutely.
I think we're going to be there helping. I don't think we're doing any seminars.
Yeah, not that I remember.
It's going to be chaos, so.
Right.
But come on up, join us, have some fun, talk outdoors with us.
So what else is going on?
Oh, man, I tell you what. I've been, I was shooting the bow. I haven't shot this week, though. I was
supposed to.
Well.
Again, I was supposed to.
You were supposed to. But you went up north.
Yes, I did.
You and Jake left Thursday afternoon for a father-son, his last boondoggle before he heads off to college.
Yeah, he's leaving Friday. This is Sunday night, and Friday a.m. We're moving him to Ohio.
Yep, and he's going to start his lovely college career.
Moving him to that big gar hole in the south.
I was down there Thursday.
Yeah, how was the gar hole?
I was there and out of there before I could say, turn this bus around.
I'm sorry for the guys and gals living in Ohio, but y'all don't have a lot of water down there, and we're just used to having a lot of water and options to fish. And even Mara and Cody have said that there's just not a lot of really great opportunities down there. So.
Right. And matter of fact, that's why they came up here and did some smallmouth.
Yeah, back on Memorial Day.
Right.
Well, no, I took Thursday, Friday off, and then I had Saturday, Sunday. And I told Jake, and we had this planned in advance, and I kept saying, I said, I'm taking 4 days off. It's my weekend with you, whatever you want to do. You get to choose wherever you want to go that we can drive within a day's drive and get back home within a day's drive. And, we kept hemming and hawing around, and he never did really decide up until like 2 days before. And he was
holding out.
He kept leaning towards fishing, but he wasn't sure. And he said, well, let's just go fishing. Let's go back up north where we went, back in the same area where we went last time. And I said, oh, you're talking about stream wading, not using a boat, but getting down and getting in the stream and doing a little casting. He says, yeah, let's do that. So that's what we plan to do. Well, if you remember back, what was it, 4 years ago? So, 4 years ago, this coming October, we had the house fire.
Right.
Well, I had plenty of waders and all that kind of stuff. We replaced most of everything in the fire. Had. And we lost one pair of waders in the fire that was totally destroyed. So, of course, they were the size that he needed.
Of course.
We had one pair of extra large, had a pair of mediums, and the other pair of extra large were just totally trashed. Had all the wading boots, had all the other stuff. We replaced all the other gear. And I had a hard time locating waders for Jake to get in.
What size were you looking for?
Extra large. Or no, large, extra large. Didn't matter. Somewhere in that range. But we couldn't find anything that people had on hand.
I was just about to say that you didn't have to order. You could walk into the store and buy.
Yeah. I called Cabela's, got on the phone with them, talked to them for quite a while, and they're like, no, not that particular brand. We got other ones, but you're talking a lot more money.
Right. Yep. Oh, yeah. They got, yes.
So I was, we're talking about the soft neoprene booty style wading waders, and that you put the wading boots on over top. And I didn't really want to spend over $120. So, with the ones we had were Frog Togs, good brand. They worked great for us. Had no issues with them. And lo and behold, I called around and I found another outdoor store that was way north of here, way north of here, but it was on our way. So I'm like, okay, you got large, you got extra large. I want you to hold a pair. I'll be there in 4 hours. Yes, I'm coming from
4 short hours.
I'm coming from Flint, So anyway, we made the trip, got up there, and took care of business, got the waiters and everything. And you okay there?
Yep. I'm just working on getting me a live stream.
Okay, all right. I thought I heard my voice chiming through there. So, but we got our gear, got our license, which I hadn't bought yet, and we had the Jeep loaded up. It was the Jeep's maiden voyage to the north.
There you go.
And we thoroughly trashed it.
Well, that's good.
I mean, that thing is for a brand new vehicle that has less than 1,000 miles on it, it's a pigsty. I mean, we used.
You got it parked right out in front of the house. How could it be a pigsty? It should be washed and waxed.
It should be, but the kids haven't done it yet for Father's Day.
Okay.
They've been telling me for 2 days I'm going to.
I see.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of like that. Hey, Dad, put some money in the account.
Yeah, exactly. Real quick, Andy. No, we don't have any events during the week. They only do the events on weekends. So that's why we're there on weekends. They don't do anything during the week usually. Kevin, well, you better be there. That's all I got to say to you.
Absolutely.
So, just catching up on.
Okay. I'm seeing they're coming in now.
So, but so the maiden. Okay, let's start with the maiden voyage of the new vehicle. Mm-hmm. How was it?
I was pleased. I was very pleased with the gas mileage.
Good.
Going up and back, plus all the times in the backcountry trails in the middle of nowhere that I swear nobody's been in 50 years on these trails. I mean, we were in some deep, dark stuff.
That's good.
I mean, when I'd say off the beaten path, it was way off the beaten path. All said and done, that thing is supposed to get 20 miles on the highway. Okay. I got average mileage up and back, plus all the woods driving, 22 miles per gallon.
That's awesome. That is really good.
And going up, we were doing 70. On the way back, I was doing 65. We were just chilling on the freeway. I mean,
you weren't pulling a trailer, were you?
No.
Okay, so you were just vehicle only.
No, in going up, driving, the one thing, and I don't know if it's the Jeep or I don't know if it was the time of the year or a combination of the two, but you can barely see through the windshield right now due to the fact that there's
a little bit of bug debris.
It was incredible. It was like a monsoon of bugs, and I don't know if that's due to the flat windshield because it's a flat windshield versus an angle windshield like on a car where they skip off.
Well, you don't have the angle of the hood.
That either.
You got the flat
It's
grill,
a flat surface.
and it just comes up and over. It doesn't go up and over.
And I will say it's really good at killing birds.
Oh, you killed a few.
Yeah. One that we know of, and possibly a second one.
Nice.
Yeah, dive bombed in front and whack.
Well, unfortunately, they don't learn their lesson.
And I will say, a lot of the trails that we went down, places we went to, there's no way on God's green earth I would have gotten in there with my vehicle, my old car. There's no way. No way at all.
That's why it's always good to have a truck
Yeah.
in the stable to go these places.
Exactly. And 4-wheel drive, in case you need it. I did not use 4-wheel drive, but there's a couple places I'm like, get stuck here. We might need it.
That's right.
So,
no, that's cool. Good deal. So it sounds like the vehicle is a keeper?
yeah, had the top off, the front half off, going up. They always say everybody who has a removable top on a Jeep has always got rained on. Well, so far this cat stopped when he saw the rain, the monsoon coming.
Oh, you pulled over.
Pulled over on the side of the freeway and put the tops back on and went about 2 miles further, and it was a torrential downpour.
Oh, that would have been a great baptism for you.
It would have been. It would have washed it out.
Wow.
So,
But that's awesome. Okay, so vehicles checked. You know to keep your top on in case of rain.
yep.
And now you've driven 4 hours to Jay's, and they're holding 2 pairs for you.
Yep. Got them, got out of there, and after he got sized up and got our fishing license, and we drove to the river. Got on the river at about 6 o'clock.
Okay. Still got a couple hours of daylight left.
Yeah, maybe 5:30. We knew we had a couple hours of daylight. But I tell you what, we're bumping up on the first break here. Let's take our first break. We'll step outside, and we'll be right back, and we'll continue to talk about the trip.
All right.
All right, we'll be right back after this.
PSE Archery has always dominated the speed category. Now, the most revolutionary cam system ever to hit the market has perfected the shooting experience. Introducing PSE's Evolve cam system, featuring extremely high let-off capabilities and the smoothest draw cycle in history. No other cam system has ever delivered this level of total comfort and total control. Experience PSE. Experience performance.
Killer Food Plots have been helping property owners for over 20 years create premier whitetail habitat. Whether replenishing your soil with their all-natural Organics Fusion pellets or planting a premier KFP food plot seed blend to help your deer rebuild their bodies through spring and summer while supplying the much-needed high energy during and after the rut, you can trust that Killer Food Plots family and their products will help your deer achieve their full potential.
Welcome back to the second segment of the show. So, yes, we made it to the river. 5:30, 6 o'clock-ish, somewhere around there.
That's awesome. Still got a couple hours of daylight to go.
Yeah, we went to the Black River in the Pigeon River Elk Refuge area.
Yep.
And there's only way to describe it is just incredible.
Gorgeous.
Have you ever been there?
No.
It's simply one of the deepest, darkest sections of woods, the most beautiful places that I've seen in Michigan. I know there's other places that are probably that good, but I'm just saying where I've been personally. It's one of them places as you're driving through, you're on a one lane dirt road. There's room enough to pull over in case somebody's coming at you, but you do not speed. I mean, you do about 10 miles an hour, maybe 15, because these corners are blind corners, and you don't know who's coming around the corner and you're going to smack. But the point is you think you're going to see a bear or an elk at any point in time.
Which you can.
Yeah. You just expect it. And we eventually made it over to the Black River. We picked out a spot on a bridge. We knew there was a bridge crossing. Years ago, when Jake and I went the very first time, this would have been back in 2011, I believe, or 12, somewhere in there, is before we had all the problems here at the house. And we stopped at Gates Lodge.
Oh, yeah.
The fly shop.
Yes.
The famous Gates.
The famous fly shop.
On the Asabo. And we bought these books. Bought one for the Asabo and the other one's for the Pigeon River area. And they lay out all these places that are public places you can go to and put in and wade the streams. And it tells you the conditions, tells you how to get there.
Do you have a map too? I mean, can you get a map from them?
There's a map in the book telling you how to get to these places.
Okay.
Yeah, it shows you, and then it tells you as well. But also we had our big atlas as well. And Jake was playing navigator. I'm driving. But we knew where we had to go. We got there. We parked on this little off the side on the road on the bridge, and got our gear on and proceeded to get in the stream before it got dark.
Good.
And fished. We were in the river maybe a half hour. Jake got his first fish. It was a brookie about 8-9 inches long.
Oh, good. Keeper?
It was a keeper, but we were catch and release. And we posted the video online, the one that we showed him putting back. And a buddy of ours, Bob, from out east, he's like, man, that looks like bait. They're used to catching bigger trout. We're fishing for trout. And I'm like, well, here in Michigan, these smaller streams are not deep, and you weight them, and that's what's there.
And plus, I think the legal limit is 7, right?
Depends on the stretch.
Oh, okay.
And where you're at. Yeah. That's the thing about Michigan fishing rules on these streams. You better know
where you are,
number one, what river specifically, obviously, but also what stretch of the river you're on. Because when we put in at that bridge, there's a sign at each public put-in spot.
Okay.
And it's posted by the state of Michigan. It says, this stretch of river is all tackle is legal, or it'll say flies only legal, or only artificial flies and lures.
Okay.
And like at that bridge, we started to get in on one side of the bridge, and we were going to walk under. And I told Jay, I said, no, let's get over and walk over and get down and go down the bank. We don't need to walk under the bridge. And later the second day, he found out why, because they put all these big boulders down there to keep the bank from eroding. And you're trying to walk over this stuff. It's dangerous. Number one. But this bridge particularly, if we had put in downstream, on the downstream side of the bridge, it was artificial flies only. Upstream, where we put in at, was artificial flies and lures. So if we had stepped in the water there, technically we'd have been illegal.
Okay, depending on what side of the bridge you wanted to go out.
Exactly. That was a dividing line. So
that bridge was the actual dividing line. Wow.
Yep. So you really need to pay attention to where you are and where you're going.
Right, because if you would have went downstream, you would have went into the no tackle area, and you'd have been. Now you didn't use any flies.
No, we were using spinners.
You were using spinners.
Yep.
Okay.
I got some St. Croix rods, two really ultralight, a 5 foot and a 5.5 foot St. Croix ultralight rod with 4-pound test, and we're using Panther Martin 1/8 ounce spinners.
Okay. Yep.
Trout spinners.
Andy Everhart says Onyx maps would have been great up there.
It would have been, and I actually had it with me. But didn't think about it. But truthfully, where we were at, we were pretty safe in the maps that we had that we were using. So
right,
going a little old school.
Mm-hmm. You gotta like that.
Mm-hmm. So, but we got on the stretch. He hooked that one, and we let that one go. And that was the only fish that we caught on that stretch that day. We fished up until about it's about 8 o'clock, about 7:45. I told Jake, I told him, we could see the sun. I said, once the sun sets below the bushes, because we had already gotten out of the timber and we were in the thick brush.
Okay.
Kind of like where bears like to hide.
Yes.
Kind of like where we found bear tracks along the side of the river.
They like to walk there.
Yeah. And a couple of them were decent sized bear tracks. I said, once the sun touches those bushes ahead of us, I said, we need to turn around and go out because I don't want to walk downstream in the dark. We had headlamps. I brought headlamps just in case.
Just in case you...
But, if you're wading a stream, you're in a deep run or something, all of a sudden you hit a hole and it's dark. I mean...
You go spoosh.
You can get in some trouble.
Yeah.
So we turn around, but just about the time we got ready to finish, the mosquitoes lit up like Christmas trees.
Ah, the Michigan bird.
Well, we didn't bring bug spray.
Oh!
I forgot that. And by the next morning, the backs of my hands were swollen from mosquito bites.
You got it nailed.
Yeah. So, but we got back out. I got out of the river. And from camp, it was 68 miles back to camp.
Okay.
Our deer camp. That 68 miles took us 2 hours and 45 minutes.
Wow.
And about 15 to 20 of it was in the wildlife area. Like I said, it's twists, turns, up and hill, over dale, and you can't travel fast.
No,
you just can't do it.
On your nightly travel there, did you see a lot of deer?
Not the first night. We saw a few.
Okay.
Saw most of them once we got out of the management area. Once we got out of that management area, We were seeing them in hay fields.
Right. Okay.
And all that. And what was strange is, as we're coming out of the wildlife area, I mean, I got the headlights on. It's dark.
It's dark.
It's cut. The tree canopy is so thick, it's really cut in the sunlight. And once we left the management area and got on a main state road, it was daylight. It was,
right.
Yeah, I mean, because we didn't get back till 10:45. The sun set around, or the total darkness here in Michigan up north is about 10:30, 11 o'clock now. So, yeah, it was kind of weird. Kind of weird.
How are you said mosquitoes, but how are the black flies? Horseflies, deer flies?
Horseflies, there was horseflies. They weren't terrible, but we were getting buzzed pretty, we were getting buzzed.
Oh, yeah.
Black flies, about the same. Wasn't terrible, but we were getting buzzed. So, the biggest thing was mosquitoes that were really getting us. But what was kind of cool, though, is right there, after he caught that first fish, from there till the time we pulled out, it was like somebody walked over to the light and just went click, boom, boom, fish are feeding, boom. That's when mosquitoes came out.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Boom, boom, boom. You can see them. And that, if you're not a fisherman, you've never experienced that, you're missing out because it's so cool. Just to stand on the stream and watch.
It's feeding time.
It's like
somebody threw feed out there.
They're not jumping. They're sucking.
Yep.
And you can hear them slurping. You can see their heads come up to the top of the water. It's just, and you just hear this all over the place. And we're just casting, and we're getting strikes. But they're after the bugs. They're not after the spinners.
Right.
We had a couple of them that we definitely got into, but they spit the hook. So,
you think flies would have been optimal right at that point?
Oh yeah, there's no doubt about it. Yeah, we'd probably done a lot better if we'd been fly fishing. But I'm not a fly fisherman, and I don't know how to cast properly. And actually, when I'm casting, I snap more flies off on the backlash.
Gotcha.
Popping them because I have not done that nowhere near enough to master it. I've got a fly rod, and it sits right over there.
Sits over in the corner.
Yeah,
I see it.
So that's it.
We'll have to get the fly rods out and practice.
We could do that. I'm telling you, that is a place. And I told Jake the same thing because remember you and I talked about going up there.
Yeah.
And I told him, I said, I got to get Danny up here because this place, it's just so cool. It's a whole nother world. It's a whole nother world.
Anywhere above West Branch is a whole nother world.
But this place is special. There's just something about that wilderness area that is incredibly cool.
It is.
No cell service.
Going up north is and being able to detach yourself is just absolutely cool.
You're standing in a river. You don't hear cars. You don't hear computers going. You don't hear cell phones. You don't hear nothing except nature.
Right.
I mean, that's it. You're in the middle of stinking nowhere.
Exactly. So
yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. And that was just your first night.
That was the first night. Yeah, made it back to camp. One of our members had the lodge reserved. He has a big family reunion that takes place up there. So my buddy John, he's got a cabin there, a little cabin on the hill.
Oh yeah, okay.
He says, "Come up." He says, "Stay on the cabin on the hill." So Jake and I went up and we stayed on the cabin on the hill.
All right.
Very cool.
Absolutely.
Just a cool.
That's the one around the pond, right?
Yep. Okay. No, the one up on the hill as you're coming in that sets up by the pole barn.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. All right.
Yeah, it's a little one-room cabin.
Yes. Nice.
So that's where we stayed.
Okay, cool.
So, I'll tell you what, let's take a break, come back, and we'll cover the next day. We're going to step outside, and we'll be right back after this.
So what do you do when you've completely redefined the way bows are engineered? When you've reached the pinnacle and the band starts playing your victory song, you start a revolution out of thin air. Introducing the all-new PSE Carbon Air, engineered with true carbon technology to be the lightest high-performance bow in the world. Experience PSE. Experience performance.
Throughout human history, one notorious killer has remained at the top and claimed more lives than any war or natural disaster combined. Mosquitoes. It's time to arm yourself and protect your family this season with Scent Blocker's new Bug Blocker for insects. Lasting up to 8 hours, Bug Blocker not only repels biting mosquitoes that can carry the West Nile virus, but other biting insects, including chiggers, biting flies, gnats, and ticks which can carry Lyme disease. Field tested by outfitters and guides from Alaska to Alabama and everywhere in between. The results are in, and Bug Blocker flat out works. In a high-potency sportsman strength dosage, using 25% no-nonsense DEET, plus 2 specific ingredients to target biting flies. Bug Blocker plays for keeps. For ultimate protection, pair Bug Blocker insects with Bug Blocker ticks.
Day 1 is done. We're on to day 2.
You've been lifted by the Michigan mosquito.
Yeah, but on the way back, like I said, we stayed at camp.
You put a dent in the population driving back with a hit your windshield, huh?
Yeah. We I had to use a scraper to scrape them off. But we stopped at a little convenience store. We had nothing to eat. You know, we didn't know what we were going to do. We went up and I said, "Do you want to take a cooler? Throw some stuff in?" "No, we'll plan it." "Okay." This was Jake's trip. I was like, whatever you want to do, this is what we're going to do.
Right.
And we stopped this little roadside gas station that I stopped at many times before. And
on the way up?
No, on the way from fishing to back to camp.
Okay.
And I thought, we need to top off with gas just for the next day. So topped off with gas. And while we were in there looking for something to eat, I said, "Hey, they got pizza. You want to get a pizza? And we'll eat a pizza. We'll sit out here in the parking lot and eat." He's like, "No," he said, "Let's just keep it simple." He said, "Let's get a loaf of bread. They got ham over there, and get a bottle of mustard." Right on. So that's what we had.
There you go.
Got a couple soft drinks, and that was the evening meal. But we also got some mosquito spray.
Hey, you remember to buy it, huh?
Oh man, there's no way I was leaving that station without it. So it was pricey, but it was well worth it.
It's well worth the price at that point, right?
Yeah. So the next day we got up, and I'm like, "Where do you want to go? Where do you want to fish?" He's like, "Well, I don't know. We fished the Black River yesterday. Let's fish the Pigeon." The Pigeon, they run almost parallel to each other.
Right.
There's not much distance between them. And I was like, "Okay, let's go fish the Pigeon." The first time Jake and I went fishing together, and I just said, "Here's the book. You plan the trip." And that was the river we went to fish.
Oh, okay.
But he found this little bridge, another little bridge where you could pull over and put in from. And that's where we went the next day.
So you're up on the Pigeon River.
Yep, got in, put in there. We fished that morning, got in the river. We both caught one fish, 5-6 inch brook trout. We were catch and releasing anyway, but no size to them. And as we're walking up the river, it's a long stretch. First bend cuts to the left. It's a big high bank with a bunch of pines on it. And all of a sudden, I see this big, huge bird come flying out from around the bend, making the swoop like he's on a NASCAR track, making it on a high bank, And Jake goes, "Man, what kind of bird's that?" And I caught the glimpse of it, and I looked up. And the way it turned, I couldn't really tell. But it was so big, I said, "Man, that's got to be an eagle." And he turned, and all of a sudden, I seen the white tail, and I saw the white head. I said, "That's a bald eagle."
It's a mature bald eagle.
So he's, he kind of swoops around us, and he's checking us out and sizing us up. I'm like, something's going on here. This isn't your typical bald eagle sighting where they kind of hang out. And I'm watching them, and all of a sudden, I look just a couple degrees up, but way up in the sky, there's another one.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, "Wow, man, there's two." I said, "Jake, do you know how lucky you are to be able to see two of them, at the same time?" I said, "That's pretty rare." And then all of a sudden it dawned on me, this time of year is mating season. I said, "I wonder if that's a mating pair and they're getting ready to court each other."
For this, have another.
So I'm watching, and he starts circling, and he's going higher and higher and higher. I said, "Here it comes. This is it," because I've seen it one time before in my life. Here he goes up, and he gets above her, and then he comes down to lock up with her, and she kind of like pushes him away, like, "No, not tonight, buddy." And then he goes up again, tries again. Same thing happened, and then they kind of started flying side by side, swooped off, and took off.
Oh, cool.
They didn't mate, but it was the mating ritual.
Right, yeah.
And I told Jake, I said, "Do you know how many people never get to see a bald eagle in their life? Number one. And the ones who do never see two of them together. And of all those, they never get to see that happen."
Right, exactly.
And I've been fortunate enough to be able to see it twice in my life. So that was pretty doggone cool to be able to see that. So that we went around that bend. We fished around a couple more bends up into the back of, I believe it was the Lansing Club, what they call the Lansing Club Pond. It's a fishing club.
Okay.
And that's kind of their stretch of river, and all of a sudden it starts getting deep. It's time to pull out and go back. So we came back out. The time we got out, it was, I don't know, probably 11, 12 o'clock. We walked back upstream, And got in the Jeep. Okay, what do you want to do? Where do you want to go? Well, let's go check this spot over here. It's about 9-10 miles away. But it was just downstream. But that's how far you had to drive to get to it.
It's not a direct line.
No. So we drive over to this horse camp. And as soon as we pull in, it's a public horse camp where where you camp with your horses and then horseback ride out. And when I pulled in, there's one thing I saw that was really cool. Was a handicap ramp. And it was a loading ramp for handicapped people to take their wheelchair up and get on a horse.
That is awesome.
And I thought, how cool is that? The state has provided a way for people who are handicapped to be able to get out and horseback ride.
Absolutely. And you're right, Kevin. Every time you can see an eagle is awesome.
America. And actually, both Jake and I both at the same time said, America.
There you go. Jason Radecki, they are all over up here in the spring when all the dead deer get uncovered from all the snow along the roads.
Well, we see them at camp, quite often. When I see them, I'm usually, it's like, okay, there's an eagle, that's cool. And it's not to the point where I'm like, oh, there's another eagle. It's still cool to me, but it's not surprising.
Every time you see one is cool.
But when you're fishing and you're on a river and you're wading, I mean, you're taking all that nature in anyway, and then you just throw that in the mix. It's just like, wow.
Right, exactly.
And Jake's never experienced anything like that. So.
Kind of the topping of the ice cream cake, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I've seen them up in where I go up in the UP, and it doesn't matter. Every time you're driving down, you look over and you see one in the field.
Yeah.
It's still just wow.
Yeah.
And then if you get it right, if they're close enough, you get a perception of how big they really are.
Absolutely.
And it's like, whoa.
Yeah, when he come around that out of them trees around that bend, like I said, it was just like standing in a corner down at Talladega watching cars go around on the high bank. That's what it reminded. It was just incredible. But
it was every time you see one, but to see that it's even is cool. So okay, so you're now at this horse place.
Yeah.
Very cool that they provide handicap access to get on a horse.
That was the first thing I noticed when we pulled in. It was just like, I said, how cool is that?
That's thinking.
Absolutely. And then we eat our lunch. We sat there in the Jeep, and just about the time we got done, I look up and I see storm clouds rolling in. And all of a sudden I hear rumble, 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 crack, thunder and lightning. I'm like, we're not getting in the water. We're sitting tight.
Right.
And we watched a storm roll in, but we were on the northwest side of the storm. It sprinkled on us, but it never rained. But everywhere southeast of us had a torrential downpour for hours.
Oh.
Yeah, it was like a washout. So, we were quite lucky. In the way the river flowed, the river didn't get muddied up. But at some point, Jake got out. He says, I'm going to go down the river and check it out. Well, down to the river is down to the river, down the steep embankment, and then it's a horse trail, and then there's big steps down where the horses can actually go down and get a drink of water in the river, So he comes back up, after a while. I'm like, what took you so long? He goes, we're not going to fish here. He said, that hill, he says, it about killed me to come back up it. He said, I can't imagine having waders and fishing gear. He said, let's find a different place to go. So we picked another spot, went and we got put in, and we had about 2.5 hours or so to fish. But the spot he picked, as we're driving into it, I'm like, man, this looks familiar. I said, I wonder if this is the first place we went. The first time that I let you pick the place to go to.
Oh, okay.
And we're driving in, and we really weren't sure, but it looked like it. And then when we pulled into the little camping area, it was a little state campground. I mean, there's only like about 10 spots. As we pulled in, and we both looked at each other and go, this is the place.
Okay.
And then there was 2 guys there fishing, or camped there that were fishing, but one guy's in a hammock, taking it easy, waiting for the night fish. And the other guy, he's over doing something by his tent. So we get out and we talk to him a little bit. And the one guy, I said, well, where are you from? He goes, oh, I'm from down around Plymouth area. So, okay, I'm down from, Linden, Fenton area. And as we got done talking, Jake told me, he says, I could swear that's the same guy we talked to when we first came up here the first time. And I'm like, yeah, I got that same feeling. Because the guy was from downstate, and I think he was from Plymouth. So it was just like Twilight Zone.
Exactly.
And, I said, he said, where are you going? I said, well, we came here, a couple of years ago, and we want to fish upstream, if that's okay. He goes, yeah, we're going to take off in about 2 or 3 hours. We're going to do a night fish. I said, man, I don't want to blow all the holes out. And he goes, don't worry about it. He said, go ahead, go have fun. You're here with your son, go. He says, we'll go the other way. He said, we'll go down and walk down and then come back up.
Okay.
So I was like, thank you. That was really cool. So, yeah, we made our way down the river, got in, and we hit around the first bend, and boom, he hit one. And it is another little one. I'm like, man, he's up 3-1 on me now.
Uh-oh.
All of a sudden, boom, then I got one, and I said, all right, hey, we're tied. So we keep walking a little bit, and all of a sudden, his rod just went bang right over, and I can hear the drag, and I could see the rod dancing. He wasn't hung. I mean, he had a fish on.
Right.
I'm like, I think you got a nice one there. He goes, yeah, it feels like a good one. And the fish broke water, and it could have been brown. It was brown or brookie. It was a darker colored fish. It was probably a good 12-incher.
Wow.
And it jumped like from me to you, away from me, and went between us and spit the hook and away it went.
Oh, man.
And then we went up a little further and he caught another one. Another, 5-6-incher. And so he beat me 3-2.
Nice.
But we walked. He says, I want to go at least as far as where we went that first time we were together. And we hooked into them 2 big rainbows. So we went down in this curve. It's a big, long stretch. And then the river hooks hard to the right. But there's a big old cedar tree that had fell. And there was leaves, or they got them funky leaves. They were, or needles, or whatever you call them. They were dancing in the water. And the fish were coming up and getting bugs off them right there.
Okay.
And that's where we got the rainbows. And we got there, and we walked up, and I said, uh-oh. He goes, what? I go, that tree's dead. I said, there's no more fish swimming into that same spot. We could tell. But we fished there, went around the corner. There's another downfall tree. That's where we stopped the last time. We climbed over it, and we made it about another 20 yards, and the river all of a sudden just went deep. So
okay.
We had to turn around, we pulled back out.
Right.
And we got out about 7:45. I said, we might have time to stop at another bridge on the way back.
Okay.
No, we were in so deep, so far, that it took us till dark to get out of there.
Right, exactly, yeah. That's one thing, as far as you go in,
yeah,
there
was one.
You got to get out.
Yeah, exactly. And there was one other spot we did check out on the way there that I forgot about. And it was in the middle of nowhere. And we're driving down, this 2-track, and it splits off. We take this other little thing, and it goes through a swamp. And they've taken crushed gravel and dropped it in there.
Okay.
So you could drive through it. But there's water on both sides.
Whoa.
And I'm like, I hope this road don't give way. And we get down to the parking area. It's a bridge, and there's a truck there. And I'm like, man, it's the only spot we can park. So I go across the bridge. So there's got to be another spot across the bridge. In the meantime, this truck backs out and starts coming across the bridge behind us. I get across the bridge. There's nowhere to park. I just stopped. I said, you guys going across? It was 2 kids. And they said, yeah. I said, please do me a favor. I said, there's nowhere to turn around. Back up and let me have that spot. He's like, all right. So
okay.
I back up, tell him thanks. And he says, the kids say, do you know how to get back to Vanderbilt?
Whoa, okay.
And I said, no. I said, but I do have a map. And he goes, well, I think we'll be okay. He said, we just fished this stretch. He said, are you guys fishing downstream or upstream? I said, we want to go upstream. He said, well, we went about a mile upstream. He says, if you want to go, go. But he said, we've already blown it out. I'm like, we'll find another spot. And that's when we went to that last spot where we fished.
Okay.
But at least they were nice enough to tell us where they went. They said they had a couple of keepers.
Right.
And then as soon as they took off, before we could even pull back out, here come another vehicle through with 2 guys. So, out in the middle of stinking nowhere.
Traffic jam.
Yeah, traffic jam. Yeah, traffic jam. So
you get a traffic jam.
Go figure.
Andy Eberhard asked, you ever seen a golden eagle in Michigan?
Yes.
You have?
One time. At camp, deer camp.
Oh, up at camp?
Yep. At least it's what I thought was perceived to be a golden eagle. I had somebody else with me and said that's what it was. Confirmed it. So I'm
cool.
Pretty sure that I've seen one.
Good deal.
So, but yeah, that was the end of the trip. We got back to camp that night. And like I said, another long... Actually, you know what? There's more to this trip.
All right.
Home. So let's step outside, take our last break, and we come back. I'll tell you the rest of the story, as Paul Harvey would say.
Yeah, there you go.
We'll be right back after this.
I shoot PSE because I like 1 pin to 40 yards.
I shoot PSE for the perfect combination of feel and performance.
I shoot PSE because you can shoot lighter poundage and increase arrow speed.
I shoot PSE for the fastest bows on the planet.
I shoot PSE because my livelihood depends on my bow.
I shoot PSE because better engineering makes a better bow.
I shoot PSE.
I shoot PSE.
I shoot PSE. I shoot PSE.
Experience PSE. Experience performance.
Killer Food Plots have been helping property owners for over 20 years create premier whitetail habitat. Whether replenishing your soil with their all-natural Organics Fusion pellets or planting a premier KFP food plot seed blend to help your deer rebuild their bodies through spring and summer while supplying the much-needed high energy during and after the rut, you can trust that Killer Food Plots family and their products will help your deer achieve their full potential.
All right, so coolest part I think of the whole trip.
Now this is
This
Friday night?
Friday night.
Okay.
We plan on fishing Saturday morning. That was the plan, and I'll tell you.
Oh, before you get any further, how was the woods this time with bug spray?
Oh, the water was a lot more manageable.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think I got bit. They were flying around and buzzing, but I didn't get bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you were using the Cabela's guide gear.
Yeah, they're not the new guide wear gear.
No.
But last year's guide wear series fishing shirts.
How was that?
I liked them because there's a lot of times they were long sleeve. I'd dip my hand down in the water. You know, you get snagged up and you'd reach down, you'd unhook the hook, you know, and I'd be that far down.
Okay.
And, you know, the water's in your clothing.
Right.
And I just do that, and most of the water would come off of it.
Okay.
And within 2 or 3 minutes, it was dry.
That's awesome. That is
It was incredible. I was just like, that's really cool.
Yeah, that is. That's some good stuff.
You know, and it's also supposed to have some UV protection built in.
And that's what I'm excited about.
And you know, and it wicks away the moisture from your body. I mean, it was hot out. I mean, we hit the river there in the middle of the day. It was like 85 degrees. I think at one point on my thermometer on the Jeep said it was 89.
Okay.
So
yeah, it's
warm.
It's been warm the last few days here.
You know, with no breeze really, it helped. It helped a lot. So
especially down on the water with the sun beating down.
Yep, absolutely. So no, I recommend them shirts, man. They work great for us.
Excellent, good deal.
So it was a great investment. But coming back, we're coming out of that campground, you know, and it's not dark yet. It's getting dark, but it's not dark
right
yet, in the woods. And we're bitty bopping down the trail, and the road takes a extreme hard left. And I crank the wheel around the left, and I just stop in the road. And I go, elk. And Jake goes, what? I go, cow elk. And I point. He goes, oh my gosh, that's an elk. That's the first elk he'd ever seen.
That is so cool.
And she kind of looked up. She's probably a 2-year-old, maybe 3-year-old elk. She wasn't like huge cow.
Right.
But she wasn't a calf either. She looked at us like, uh-oh. Clump, 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 clump. I mean, just
gracefully through the woods.
Yeah, you know, and away she went. Before I could even get my phone up and take a picture or video, you know. And so he's just all giddy about it. He's just like, man, that was so cool. I can't believe I saw an elk. That's awesome. So we're talking about it, and we pull out. We finally get out to the main road, the main single track dirt road.
Right.
You know, 1-lane dirt road. And we're cruising along, and I'm looking up ahead, and I go, God, that looks like something in the road. And as we get closer, I'm like, that's an elk.
More elk.
Yeah. So I stop and I get my phone out and I zoom in all the way and I hit the video and I'm videotaping it. And it's standing there looking at us. And then all of a sudden, it just turned around 180 to walk away from us. When it did, all of a sudden, I seen the antlers. It was a bull. He wasn't huge. He was, you know, he was probably that wide. And best I could tell, he was a 3x3, kind of like a 3x3.
Right. Okay.
And he kind of walked and then did a 90-degree turn, and in the woods he went. And, you know, he's like, I can't believe I seen 2 elk. And I seen one of them was a bull. I mean, he's just flipping, you know. He's going crazy. And there's a elk viewing area on past that. I said, let's stop and see if there's anything.
Let's go view.
Yeah, maybe there's some out in the field, you know. So we stopped. And what's really cool is that you pull up this parking area, there's a path that goes down to this big meadow. And this meadow is huge. It's probably 70, 80 acres.
Okay.
And there's a bench there, and you can sit there and just view. You know, it's just like a wooden bench.
Right.
But there's no elk. So
okay.
We hung out there for a few minutes, then we got back in the Jeep, took off, and we get back to the last main turn that we have to take and make a 10-mile drive through the wilderness area. And as we're coming up to the intersection, I'm like, hey, check it out. There's a deer in the road. He's like, oh, that's cool. And then she, as we get closer, she bounds into the woods. Well, as everybody does, when you see a deer, when you pull up to that area, you stop and you look to see if you can see the deer.
Right.
We stop, and about 20 yards inside the woods was 3 elk.
Oh, jeez.
There was a cow, a big cow, and 2 little ones, not calves, probably last year's calves.
Okay, yeah, all right.
Feeding. And, I'm fumbling with the camera. I got my phone up, start shooting video. He's shooting video. And we're watching them, and they're only 20, 30 yards away. And the cow, she gets nervous. She walks away from it to about 40, 50 yards, and she starts circling, doing a circle motion.
Right.
And there must have been something there, and I don't know what it was. It was behind 2 trees that they were feeding on. It was almost like it was a feed site. And I don't know if the DNR had put something out or if somebody else had.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
I don't know if it's illegal to do whatever.
They were leaving, whatever they were doing.
The 2 young ones weren't leaving. They just kept there, and they look at us, they'd eat, look at us, eat, look at us. It's like, hey, how you doing? We're just going to eat this, whatever this is.
Right.
So we saw 5 elk on the way home.
That's awesome.
And I was just like, that and the bald eagles just made the whole trip. It was just really, really, really cool.
That is cool. And matter of fact, Deb got a glimpse of 2 elk when we were coming back just past the bridge.
South of the bridge?
Yep.
No kidding.
It was just, because I think I just saw 2 elk. I said, well, you might, and sure enough, the next sign you see is elk crossing. So
okay, so you're right there by the 296 marker.
I think so, yeah.
300. Okay, you're right there by Wolverine.
Yeah.
You weren't very far then from where we were at.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she saw that, and she was excited. Of course, I had my eyes on the road.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
So, but anyways, that is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
From bald eagles to elk, you've seen.
Mm-hmm. We did see one
Did
raccoon.
you catch any fish?
I caught 2 and he caught 3.
Okay.
We hooked a lot. Got into a lot that would spit the hook, I personally think we're using too big of tackle because those streams, the keeper...
Well, you're using a 0, aren't you?
No, we were using, on the weight size, it was like a number 4. You know what? Hang on. Entertain the folks. Those on the podcast here, you're going to have to wait just a second. I've got him right over here.
He's going to leave his chair, and he's going to walk behind the camera, and then he's going to come back.
I got him right here.
I thought they were 0s you got.
And for those of you who are on the podcast, you're going to have to watch the live stream here as I pull one of these little dudes out. But the way they classify these is by the weight and the size. And these were number 4s, and they were 1/8 ounce Panther Martins. Actually, let me get one that's undressed. And for those of you who don't know, I'll show the difference between a dressed and an undressed hook. If I can get these things untangled. Okay. That's a number 4. And that one is undressed. You can see the hook. And this one's dressed. It's got a fuzzball and hair around it.
Kind of makes it look like a bug.
Exactly, yeah. Coming through the water. And then you got the little spinner on top.
Okay, so these are Panther Martins.
Yep.
Do you use MEPS?
This one right here, I believe, is a MEPS.
And what number is that?
I don't know. Couldn't tell you.
Okay, because...
That's a dressed hook.
Yep. Makes it look like a little bug.
Yep. Actually, this one right here was the one that most of the fish were caught on.
Okay.
Yep. I kept telling him, I said, don't get hung on a tree. Don't lose that one. He did lose one. I had a rainbow trout pattern one.
You had to give it to the fishing gods, eh?
Yeah. Yep. The tree ate it. So.
No, I hate when that happens.
That was the only one that we had of that one too, and he did catch a fish on that one.
Sweet.
But most of them were caught. Well, on that one, that pattern, and that little speckled pattern there, that yellow and brown white one. So
that is so cool.
That's what we were using. And Shimano reel.
4-pound test?
4-pound test, yep. And
you just tie it off and cast away, huh?
Yeah. Trim the tag off. Kept the tags, within probably a 1/4 inch of the tackle. Yep. But yeah, it was a really good trip. We got back that last night. We got back to camp, and I think we'd already eat all of our food, and we stopped again at that gas station, got a couple snacks. We're going to get up the next morning. The plan was to get up, and on the way home, stop and hit the Rifle River.
Okay. And
then come on home. Hit that for a couple hours. But when we got up, it was pouring down rainstorms.
Oh.
And it rained, almost all morning. But the one cool thing, instead of just calling it a wash, I got up and I went back and I checked my food plot.
Oh, okay.
Because we're at deer camp.
Right.
So I drove out to my food plot, and did you see the pictures online?
No, I haven't.
Oh my gosh, it's the stuff we planted was the killer food plots climatized. That's one I've got left of what little bit I do have left that I didn't get in the ground. Half a bag, quarter of a bag, but that field is green. Oh my gosh, is it green?
It's green.
It is green. Yeah, it's thick, nice.
That's a good thing because then you know the deer haven't eaten it all.
Yeah, well, it's growing up good, And I looked at it compared to my growth cage. My growth cage looked like it was a couple inches higher.
Okay. So they are grazing it.
Yeah, they're grazing it. There was no deer when I went through, obviously, because it was raining and me driving the Jeep out there.
Right.
They're like, they probably ran off. But the perimeter that I planted, I could see where I'm assuming it was the Border Patrol that was coming up.
Okay.
It was a different plant.
Yeah.
There was a different plant that was growing in with the climatized, which this is a 4-seed mix. Don't ask me which one it was. Actually, I think I saw 3 of the 4 that's supposed to be in there. That I recognized. But yeah, it's working. It's coming up. It's growing. It's green.
Green is good.
Yeah, I'm looking forward.
You got
to it.
rain.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the most important thing. You're not gonna be dried out. Hopefully, it'll carry over for July.
Right on. So the only bad news that we had on the whole trip was we found out this week while I was up there. Actually, I was on the river when the people were there. We have oak wilt on the property in our oak trees.
Okay.
We got a few minutes here on the show. I don't want to get too deep into it, but we'll save that for maybe next week. But we've got oak wilt in our red oaks, and it's got to be addressed.
Yep, it's got to be taken care of. You can't let that go.
If you'd like, we posted a video. It's over on the Alban Outdoor Education Research page, but I shared it on the Up North Journal page as well. So you can see this guy. He was, I forget if he's the DNR specialist or the DNR biologist. We had 2 different people out, and he peeled back the bark on the tree, the suspected trees. He actually isolated where it was at in the tree.
Okay.
He would tap on it and figure he could hear it.
Jeez.
And he's the guy. Wait till you see the video. You say, okay, yeah, I can understand why this guy knows stuff. He looks like a lumberjack. But anyway, he'd take his hatchet and he'd chop a little bit and he'd peel it back, and bang, there it was, clear as day underneath in the cambium layer.
Really?
Of the tree, yeah. And it's going to kill them. I
Yep.
mean, flat out, those are going to die. And I'll get a little more into how that disease is transferred. There's 2 different ways. And the red oak is the most susceptible to transfer of the disease. So
stay tuned for a future episode to hear about that.
Yeah, because they're coming back and they're going to quarantine off an area that we've got to cut, treat, and there's multiple processes we have to go through to try to save the rest of our oaks.
Right.
And we've notified our neighbors. Hopefully it's not on their property, because even if we treat our property and theirs has it and they don't treat it, then it could come
right back.
Right. So, yeah, there's some things we got to work through. So,
the joys of outdoors.
Yeah, but being a steward of the land.
That's right. You got to take care of it.
You got to take care, because if not, Mother Nature is going to do what Mother Nature does.
Right. And if you don't try to save it, Mother Nature can be harsh.
Well, spruce budworm, we've had that. That just got into our spruce trees as we were cutting, so we managed to salvage our spruce trees. But the infestations came through, and you can see it on our neighbor's property. Plain as day, he got all his spruce trees.
Right.
And now we've got oak wilt right behind it. So
if it isn't one thing, it's another.
It is. You just have to deal with what the cards you're dealt and make the best of it.
Right. Exactly.
But yeah, that was that was our week.
Cool.
It was 2.5 days. It was a whirlwind. I mean, we put 900 miles on the Jeep. We completely trashed it. The inside it got sand.
You broke it in nicely.
Oh man, mud all over the place. Bug covered, but yeah, we had a blast. I'm wore out. Put it that way. I'm stinking wore out.
Good.
But
good.
It was a good time.
You can go back to work tomorrow. How's that?
That's what I'm going to do. Go back to work.
You can rest and go back to work tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Or go back to work to rest.
But before we go, I want to know, you said you've been shooting a bow. I want to know how you've been doing with that.
Well, actually, I'm shooting 2 bows now.
Oh.
I'm shooting...
Do tell.
Well, I got the Evolve this year,
mm-hmm.
and I got the Decree HD last year.
Right.
I said, you know what? I'm going to shoot them both.
Okay.
So I switched releases.
Right.
And
how's that going, by the way?
good. I needed to take my Decree HD down to Jim and have him make the draw length just a little bit longer.
Okay.
Don't ask me why, but so
Is that because of the release you were using?
I think it was.
Okay.
So I went down to him, saw him. Of course, it's a 5-minute job, but I wanted a professional to do it. I thought I knew how to do it. I was right on how to do it. It's just
you wanted to make sure.
I wanted to make sure, and plus he's got the right equipment to set the draw stop.
Right.
So, anyways, I've been shooting them both, and they're doing pretty good. So now, let's go back to a little story that about shooting your bow, missing the target, finding your arrow.
Uh-oh.
Okay. A few weeks back, I shot, and I missed left of the target.
Mm-hmm.
I did something, whatever, and I couldn't find the arrow. Mm-hmm. I'm like, where in the heck did this thing go? And I'm like...
You're shooting in the backyard?
Yeah. I'm shooting off into the woods, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like...
That's why the deer aren't coming around anymore.
Oh, no, they're coming around. They are coming around. I got $5 coming in. They're there. They're not going anywhere, I'll tell you that much. Because it's the heat. They are not going, but the last 2 days when it was really hot, I walked out there and they were all laying down about within 40 yards. They're all just laying down. I looked and went, wow, okay, you guys didn't go far. Gave them some corn, they're happy. But I shot this arrow, missed the target, and I couldn't find it. I'm like, what the heck? And I walked back and forth, looking, okay, so I found the arrow. Actually, Kelly found the arrow last night.
Okay.
It was approximately 130 yards past the target.
130 yards?
Yes. And how I know that is, I've got my woods marked out to 100. I know where the 90, because I wrote it on the tree with.
Okay.
And I know the sidewalk past that because there's way in the back. Mm-hmm. And we're walking along. We took the dogs for a walk. We're walking along. She goes, "Hey, Dad, look!" And she's holding my arrow. And I'm like, "Whoa!" And because there's a road in the back of the woods that goes to a subdivision, but there's no houses back there. It's just a road to cut through the woods. Mm-hmm. It went past the sidewalk, past the road, and into a berm back there. That's probably about 130 yards.
Wow.
And I have no idea how that arrow did it.
How it kept the height and flew that far?
The only thing I can think of, because off my back porch that I shoot, I'm shooting downward. Mm-hmm. The only thing I can think of...
Ricochet?
It had to hit the dirt and go upward. But it stopped at about 130 yards.
What would you have done if that had hit a car?
Well, there's people walking back there,
or
too.
people, yeah, I was going to say, or like you walking the dog.
I always watch when I shoot, because sometimes I won't shoot, because there's either people or there's deer. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, I'm always cognizant of what's behind my target, because I can see them coming through the woods, right, walking left to right.
You need your big round hay bale.
But I was totally shocked at how far that arrow went. So it tells you how good the Evolve throws an arrow, and how good a Black Eagle flies. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. And I kept looking for this, and I kept walking back and forth and back and forth. And matter of fact, I went over there one time to look for it, and I couldn't have went this far, right? Yeah, I did.
Wow.
So that was
eye-opening.
Pretty wild. So I got my arrow back.
But other than that, you're doing well.
Yeah. So get it out this week. Shoot some more before we head up north.
That's the plan. Now you're doing your 4th of July thing, right?
Yep, we're heading north 4th of July week. Go to the cabin, shut the doors, don't bother me.
Kind of like what I did.
Right.
Get out and enjoy nature.
I got to meet with the forester up there while I'm up there that week.
Gotcha.
So I'll have a report back when I come back for that.
Good deal.
Yeah, the project should be done by July 1st. But, like you mentioned, rain. They've been getting a lot of rain, so I don't know how much wood they've gotten off. I talked to him this week, and he said they were pulling off a lot of wood, except for on one side they were having problems because of the water. So, hopefully.
Yeah, it's still wet up north where we were at.
Yeah, it's wet. So, other than that, man, it's rock and roll. It's summertime.
Yep, get out there and enjoy it.
It's still daylight.
Sunny out? Yep. Today, anyway.
Yeah, that's right. So...
Anything else?
No, just get outside and enjoy it, man. It's nice out.
Yep. Remember, Cabela's is open, the new store on the 3rd.
Stay tuned for that. We'll have more about that. And it looks like Cabela's Deer Classic. Hey, talking deer.
September 30th.
Is going to be September 30th. So stay tuned for that, where we'll be, what we'll be doing.
Absolutely.
We just got notification of it. So we got to get everything confirmed and shore up some dates.
Absolutely. Bowfest is coming up. We might be doing a shoot possibly down the Toledo area.
Yep.
Working on that. So.
And speaking of shoots, anybody in the local area, Land O'Lakes Bowman here every Thursday has their 3D shoot. They're also starting a 3D league shoot on that same night. So if you wanted to join a league for 3D, check out the website for Land O'Lakes.
There you go. All right. Hope everybody had a great Father's Day. I know we did, and I had a great week. Sounds like Danny's getting ramped up for another big trip, so stay tuned for that. And, as always, you can check us out over on the Outdoor Podcast channel. And we got a bunch of other great shows over there, so don't forget them. Go over and listen to those as well. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
Right, and what I'm starting to do is I'm trying Wednesday, Thursday, trying to get our video back out. If you missed it on Facebook or you want to catch it on YouTube or Vimeo, matter of fact, you can see what we talked about, the lures. You couldn't see it on the podcast, but you can see it. So look for that to come out this week sometime. We'll do a link on Facebook, and then you can check out the video side.
Absolutely. So other than that, that'll do it for us this week, folks. Remember, as we always say, if you're out in the water or in the woods, shoot straight and be safe until next time on the Up North Journal. This episode was brought to you by PSE Archery,
Black Eagle Arrows,
Scent Blocker,
Killer Food Plots,
Cabela's,
Spot Shooters,
Antler Action,
Family Traditions Tree Stands,
Tom's Custom Turkey Calls,
and Badass Slingshots.
Thanks for listening, and join us again here next week. Until then, remember, as we always like to say, if you're out on the water or in the woods, shoot straight and be safe. Until next week on the Up North Journal.